Well, welcome to this Sports Showcase event on Hartford TV. I'm Don Morrison, pleased to be with you on a damp and chilly early fall evening at Fallston High School. Two non-league girls soccer matchup between the homestanding Cougars and the John Carroll Patriots from the IAAM A Conference. With me is my telecast partner, Ray Ruse. Ray, we could have picked a better night.
Yes, we
but
could have.
Still, it is a beautiful night to play a great soccer game. We're talking about two programs that are top-notch.
Definitely.
The program Fallston that won the state title back in 21 and 22, and John Carroll just perennially great in that A Conference.
Yes. So we have a really good matchup here, Don, and I'm really impressed. You and I talked about this before the telecast. These two schools did not have to schedule each other, but they both wanted a good competition. So John Carroll comes in 4-1 and 1, and they had a win over top-ranked Spalding, and they only lost to probably nationally ranked Good Counsel 1-0.
Yeah.
So they're playing great.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, and you look at Fallston, they're 4-3, a little deceiving, because they were 0-3 or 1-3 to start the year, and then they've won 4 of their last 5 games.
Yes.
So they defeated Bel Air, their arch rival, 1-0, and they've shut out 2 other teams as well. So they've scored like 13 goals in the last couple of games. So they've done very well.
Well, that goes back to what we were saying. Fallston could have put those non-conference games as patsies, easy games. But they deliberately picked top-notch teams because Fallston perennially fights for the regional title with local rival Patterson Mill, and then they almost always go on to the state semifinals or finals. So why not be battle-tested?
Absolutely, yeah. We're looking forward to a great game. Let me ask you, Ray, you've played a lot of soccer. The conditions tonight, it is a turf field.
Yes.
Okay, so, that we don't get mud and we don't get those kind of problems in a grass field. How is it to play on a field like that? It's been raining for the last, 2 hours? It's slacked off a little bit now, but it's still damp. How is it to play in those conditions?
So what the things you have to watch out for is if it was a hard, dry, sunny field, goalie punts would bounce high, long kicks would bounce higher, but on a wet field on turf, you got to worry about the ball skidding. So when a ball's coming at you that you would normally approach one way to trap, you got to make sure you block it. Not just trap it, block it, because if you're a defender, that ball can skid by you, and a forward can run right by you. The toughest job is the goalie, the one position I could never play and wouldn't want to.
Who would want to, right?
Yes. They have to watch out for that skidding ball. So when I played soccer, Don, I shot the low hard shot on a skidding turf.
Yeah. Hey, we speak of goalies. Look at Fallston, Maddie Cox. She's a senior. You look for a goalie, and you want to have a senior. You want to have somebody with a lot of experience. This young lady has 32 saves already this year, 3 shutouts in the last 4 games. So if you're looking for that last line of defense, Fallston certainly has it with Maddie Cox.
Well, and the thing is, that's that competition again. I mean, when you're playing good teams, you're going to get your goalie tested, and why not get him tested early? Because when you get to those state playoff games, they're usually 1-0, 2-1 games, and often shootouts.
We're about ready now to announce the starting lineups for both teams. Tom Dixon, the veteran, 15 years, Ray. This young man, Tom Dixon, has been doing this job. He volunteered when his kids were in school. That was like 10 years ago, and he's still doing it.
Yes.
I hate him because he has such a great voice. No, he's a wonderful guy. And his pal Dave Wren over there. Dave, 27 years he's been at Fallston after graduating just because he loves being here and doing whatever he can to help.
These people are the backbones of programs.
Yep.
They're the backbones of schools, and that's what you need. I mean, you'll see administrations come and go due to retirement or transfers. You'll see coaches put their 5 to 15 years in, but then you got people like this outlasting everybody.
Yeah, for no reason. I mean, they don't have a kid in the school, okay? I mean, they're not paid by the school. They just do it because they happen to love the school. Yep. Hey, 3 great officials. We have 3 officials tonight. Austin Miller, Brian Coleman, and Ben Papoy are the 3 officials. So, they're a veteran. They've done the job well. We know this game is going to be well officiated.
So one thing that's interesting is you and I did basketball games. We wonder why we have a 3-man system one day and a 2-man system another. And sometimes it's simply because of money. Did they have enough funds to...
Exactly. You didn't say, Ray, do the money sign.
Yes.
Yeah.
So in that regard, you're talking about the style. So when you do a two-man system, one ref runs from slightly past midfield to the other team's 10-yard line on one side, and the other one has the other one.
Yeah.
So this way you have one man in the middle and one on each sideline.
You look at these two teams, they have played in recent years. Last 2 years in a row, the John Carroll Patriots have won, so that you're looking for Fallston on your home field. You would love nothing better than to send John Carroll home with a loss. But let me add this. The Fallston Cougar JV team was 23 straight wins until they lost tonight 1-0. So that 23 win streak was broken by the John Carroll JV team just before this game was played. So again, if you're the Patriots under Holly Howe, you're saying, hey, let's duplicate what our JV did.
And Holly Howe has been here for 11 years, and she said she coached 1 year under Gary Lynch in his last year of coaching, and he was a John Carroll coaching legend, and she's an English teacher as well.
You're watching the lineup for the visiting John Carroll Patriots being introduced. We'll give them to you by order. Calissa Coates will be playing. She's number 0, the goalie. Also starting Emma Fuchs, number 2. Number 5 is Addie Carter. Number 7 is Olivia D'Alessandro. Number 10 is Kaylee Friedel. Number 11 is Bella Otone. Number 14 is Izzy Dobrikowski. And number 21, Clara Medor. 23 is Grace Marchetti, and 26 is Ella Jantz. That's the starting lineup for the John Carroll Patriots. Dressed in white, they are the visiting team.
Both teams are playing a 4-4-3, Don, and that means 4 in the back, 3 at midfield, and 3 up front. But even Haley Howe told me that's how they start. It's not always how they finish.
Yeah.
So coaches like to make adjustments based on the other team, and maybe they pull back another forward to play midfield to help control the middle. Different things will happen.
You look at Fallston, there are 2 players I want you to keep your eyes on. Number 7, Sarah Ferrali. She is a senior. She's played now all 4 years as a starter for Fallston. And also in the deep defensive fullback position is Addison Rees. Addison, a 3-year starter. She, is one of those players who is just a lifer. I mean, she plays all year long, plays for some of the top teams, and also plays top tournaments.
Yes.
So those are 2 players, number 2 and number 7. Keep your eye on them. Also, there is a freshman. Her name is Sophie O'Hagan, number 5, plays right in the middle of the midfield.
That's impressive.
Tell me about it, a freshman. I talked to the coach for Fallston, and he told me, John Selbeck we're speaking about, said, hey, she's a freshman in age, but she's not a freshman in talent and experience.
So that's equivalent to being the point guard on the basketball team, the quarterback on the football team. And the difference here to me is girls mature earlier, so freshman girls can come in and play with older girls a little easier than a freshman boy can come in and play with varsity athletes. It's done, but not as frequent.
Talking about now the Fallston starting lineup, we gave you Maddie Cox, number 0, who is the goalie. In the backfield, it's Addison Rees, number 2. It's Hayden Mills, number 3. Number 10 is Casey Resch. And Myra Whitley, she's number 17. In the midfield, Sarah Ferrali, the young lady we talked about, number 7. Number 5, Sophie O'Hagan. And number 6, Ella Litz. In the front line, out today, Victoria Grode is out because she's ill. Now, she has 4 goals, so that certainly is going to be a difference, being replaced by Ruby Riddell, number 16. 18 is Randall Harding, number 18, the sophomore, and Elena Williams, number 12, also a sophomore. So 2 sophomores and a replacement junior in the front line for Fallston.
That's impressive. They have a bright future for them. I had a team at North Hartford years ago, Don, that I started. 9 of my starters were freshmen and sophomores.
Wow.
And by the time we became junior seniors, we lost 1-0 in the state final game.
Yep.
And that's what that kind of continuity can build over a couple years together. The John Carroll captains, I'll give you their names in a minute, and Piper said 20 returning players of varsity, their continuity and their chemistry is wonderful.
Well, and we talked to the coach before the game, just about ready for our national anthem. We'll continue this conversation after we honor our country with our national anthem.
For the playing of our national anthem, the Star-Spangled Banner. Gentlemen, please remove your hats.
were commenting how the rain had slacked up a bit. Sorry about that, rain gods, because the rain is hitting us harder than it's rained all day long. It is now no longer a drizzle, Ray. I don't want to complain, but it's a rainstorm, okay?
Well, and the thing is, Don, you and I are very honorable, patriotic people, so we did take our hats off.
Yes, we
but
did.
now we messed our hair up.
Well, in my case, not a big deal, but
Yeah,
I just
I'm with
use a wash rag and I'm good there. Yeah. Just about ready to get underway. The field, again, in good shape because it is a turf field.
Right.
But still, and I think you mentioned it, Ray, that on a turf field even, you can slide
Yes.
and take the ball away. So in some ways, that's an advantage to have a wet field.
Well, and it does do that, but I will tell you, you asked before, you have to be more, even more accurate with your passes. Because since the ball will skid downfield, you can't hit quite as hard of a lead pass or a through ball. It's great for switching fields, taking it from the left side to the right or right to the left, because the ball will get there quickly. And this field is beautiful, Don. So sometimes you have to worry about some turfs being old enough that there's some sunken parts and some places where puddles will form. But that shouldn't be the case here. Back to the referees, Don, you mentioned their names. Don't know if you ever had the fortune or unfortunate experience of officiating, but all credit goes to these gentlemen and ladies that do this because it can be a thankless job.
Let me tell you a quick story about my former boss, Robbie Wallace, the late, great Robbie Wallace at the Aegis paper. He was going to cover a game where Cal Ripken Sr. was playing for the Aberdeen Canners, and Cal had a reputation of being hard on umpires.
Yes.
So the umpire didn't show up. Cal said, Robbie, would you please umpire? If you do, I guarantee nobody will argue with you. Robbie said, only in that case that nobody argues.
Right.
First play, Robbie calls the guy out. Cal is in his face. Robbie takes off the mask, takes off the chest protector, puts it on. He said, this game is over. I'm leaving. Cal Ripken Sr., one of the great human beings of all time
That's funny.
in this county.
That's funny.
When I was coaching at Aberdeen, Cal Ripken Jr. was Calvin Ripken. Nobody knew Calvin Ripken because Cal Ripken Sr., Cal Ripken, was the man in Harford County all during that time.
I was lucky enough to play in a winter soccer league against Billy and Cal Sr. was coach, and he got red carded and then kicked out of the game.
I can believe it. Here we go now. Fallston in the orange uniforms, the home uniforms going from left to right across your TV screen. It's John Carroll in the white uniforms going from right to left. The rain has stopped just a little bit, but it's still coming down.
Don, that kickoff was a rule change they did years ago. You used to have to go forward. Now they let you go directly backwards, and that's what John Carroll did.
When we talk about a team that's well-schooled and well-coached, and certainly, as you said, 20 returning players, so, is a team with lots of experience. Matty Cox, the goalie for Fallston, figures to be a key to this game because the pressure is going to be on.
Right. That was a really good clear by the sweeper back there with a non-rushing player, and sweeper is a very tough, important position.
We're going to have some trouble, I know, calling numbers because the rain is beginning to really come down. So excuse us if we don't get all the players correctly. We'll do our best.
And Don, you have a better cover on your roster. Mine's already ruined. So I will be calling folks. We are doing our best. We're getting soaked.
No, we're not whining. Yes, we are. No. Yes, we're whining. It's raining.
No, I just want to be able to call the names well, and now my sheet is all soaked.
Patrick Mull, the athletic director, offered to get me a tent, and I said, no, we don't need a tent. We're tough. Hey, Patrick, if you're listening, bring the tent.
Yes.
Just kidding. Just underway. Again, it is 40-minute halves, 10-minute overtimes, if it comes to that, sudden death. Well, they called it golden goal, I understand.
Yes.
I guess sudden death is not politically correct anymore.
So we have a good run down here going the left side here. She's looking for one more pass, and then she wants to serve it. Let's see if it's a corner or a goal kick.
Looks like it might be a goal kick.
Yeah.
The official's right on the spot.
So what you saw in that last possession for John Carroll is they go a lot of inside-outside, and then they play off the center midi. And the center midi had a player run off of her. She bumped it to her. One pass down the sideline there, 50 yards up the field.
Dominating so far has been the John Carroll Patriots. They've had the ball in the Fallston defensive end the entire time. Again, Fallston coming in at 4-3, having won 3 games in a row after starting 1-3. John Carroll 4-1-1. Both teams are very successful. We mentioned Fallston state champions in the Class 1A in 2021 and 2022.
And then when you're talking about John Carroll, Don, they are playing against nationally ranked teams.
Absolutely.
In that A conference. And Haley Howell said she would never want to go to the B conference. She wants the competition.
That's Calissa Coates, the goalkeeper for the John Carroll Patriots.
Mm-hmm.
She's a senior as well. And again, I know that doesn't mean everything, but
Right.
it sure is a comfort to know that you've got senior leadership all the way back there. Not only are they, key to stopping the shot, but also they're key to being able to tell everybody what to do.
Oh,
Maddie
definitely.
Cox coming up and picking up that ball.
So Bella Atan, is that how you said it was pronounced, Don?
Yeah, Otone, and we have to say that right because our director, Mark, that happens to be his cousin.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, she is an outstanding player. She's the leading scorer with 5 goals, and Clara Medor is followed by 4. We got a little chance here for
Yeah, we do.
Fallston.
Cougars coming down that side. That looks like, that's Randall Hastings. And Randall, sorry me if I'm mispronouncing your name because the rain is beginning to obscure even my well-covered notes here.
Well, that ball kind of came off of a steal and then a quick rush down the side. And now she's earned a corner kick, and corner kicks are a big part of the game.
Rachel Harding, by the way, the number 18.
Now they're going to rush in onto goal. Oh, you don't want that ball to bounce.
Good job by John Carroll to get it out of there. Coming up and making the quick pickup and putting it out is Calissa Coates, the goalkeeper for John Carroll. We talked about the Cougars hadn't had an offensive chance. Well, they did right there. That ball was right in the net, right in front of the net.
Well, and that's not going to make the goalie happy because the goalie does not want her players to let that ball land. They want a body or a head ball on that and get that ball out of there.
And you mentioned about the slick field, and boy, that's where it's trouble if you're a
Yes.
goalie. In fact, we were talking about that Fallston-Bel Air game where Fallston defeated Bel Air. They scored their only goal when the fullback for Bel Air kicked the ball back to the goalie, went right between his legs for a goal. The only goal of the game as Bel Air lost that with 1-0.
So that's a nice little bump out to the outside back. Now she's swinging it right down the middle perfectly. They're going to try to get it to the far opposite side. That was a very good switching fields right there.
Why does that help, Ray, when you switch fields?
Because
Here they come. John Carroll on the attack.
She should let it go. Oh, she had the overlapping player. So basically, one side of the field will get more crowded than the other, and then you want the people to overload. Then you do a couple quick passes the other side. You go from being maybe 3-on-5 to being 5-on-3.
We talked about young players, but you look at that Fallston back line. They've got senior, junior, and a senior at goal. So they've got experience in that defensive backfield.
That's not surprising that the coach did that. You want leadership back there. Okay, a little bit of a bounce off the body ball. They're going to play this to the goalie. And as fans know, mostly you cannot pick that ball up if you're a goalie because your teammate made a deliberate pass to you, so she has to use her feet.
Okay. No score. We're about 7 minutes, or 6.5 minutes actually, into the game. Playing at Fallston in the rain. Did we mention it's raining?
And Don, to add to that, that shows you the sophistication of the game and how much it's advanced. People didn't used to go backwards. Now you'll see them be in trouble, and she'll play the ball to the goalie, and the goalie will use her feet. She might even bring it back to the same side. That was a nice outlet pass to an outside mid-air attack.
Well, we'll stay with Fallston. They'll have a throw in here with 33-15 and counting left in the first half.
Years ago, Don, goalies were the brave people who could catch the ball well, throw and punt. Now they need to have very good foot skills as well.
And be very brave, or some might say very foolish. I am not saying that. I'm just saying that it takes a special kind of person.
Only thing in any sport that I ever didn't make eye contact with the coach when they were asking for volunteers.
Yeah, it was like 5th grade when you were asked a question. You tried to sort of slink behind that big guy. The teacher always found you. Donald.
So here we go. That's some good bumping around. They're just doing triangle passes, trying to free up one person.
Kind of feeling each other out, if you will, because early in the game, it's been a very evenly played game at this point.
That was an excellent attempt by the John Carroll player to come back towards the ball and fight for it. Otherwise, Fallston would have had it sooner. This will go a drop again, probably. Oh, that was a little dangerous. Yeah. She was a little indecisive about that, but I will give the offensive player credit. She kept defending to the left, to the right. She wouldn't let her make a good decision there.
Looked like that might have been number 16, Ruby Riddell, who's again that last-minute replacement who came in for Victoria Goad. Goad, one of the leading goal scorers. In fact, she leads them in goals. Throw in.
So when I used to first coach, Don, I used to get some of the prima donna forwards who were like, my job is to score goals. And I said, well, you're also supposed to defend when we lose the ball. And that's what that young lady did.
Great job by Fallston to keep the pressure on. Coming up on the 31-minute mark, 9 minutes into the game, no score. Neither team really has had a real threat yet. Did have that one corner kick that was in front of the goal for Fallston.
That was a good punt there. Put that ball 45 yards in the air.
Ray, do they make windshield wipers for glasses? If so, that's my next request for Christmas. Windshield wipers for my glasses. Here comes John Carroll.
She should check out to the outside. She's going to try to get it back. That was a good decision. She bypassed the one center midi and put it to the other one. This could be a shot. A good stick. Good stick.
Defensive play. Looked like that was Addison Rees, that young lady we talked about, number 2.
Now, see, I'd be looking for the shot there. What's the call here?
Casey Resch with that save, number 10. Whistle blows.
Free kick awarded to the Patriots.
I think they called a push or a trip there, but I didn't see it.
40 yards out from the goal.
I will give the referee credit there, Don, because I didn't see it, which meant it was off the ball.
Yeah.
But that's outstanding refereeing to catch something off the ball, because that's where some of the dirty work happens sometimes.
And you mentioned with 3 referees, it's a lot harder to get away with those pushes.
So she's going to chip it on goal and look for a body, continue that ball.
And that was a nice chip. That ball was right in front of the goal. Good job by Fallston. Nice clear by the Cougars.
She's going to try to shield it until it goes out.
Yep.
So I'm assuming the blue line is the yellow line down.
Yellow line, yeah.
The outside yellow line.
Lots of lines here. They play lacrosse and they play field hockey and they play football and soccer and anything else they can play on this field.
That was a good job coming to the ball by the striker. Back to her again. Very nice bumping right there.
You can tell this team has experience. They played together for a long time.
Chemistry means a lot, Don.
It does. Although I failed chemistry in high school. Was that a problem for you?
Yeah, I didn't do too good in all my science classes in college either.
Here we go.
All the way out
John
to the
Carroll.
right, there is a girl. She could strike this.
Oh, great defensive job by Fallston to get on it.
Yeah, Case.
She's doing good cutback moves.
For both these teams, you can tell at a high level of talent.
Yes. Very, very tenacious, too, both teams. Nobody's standing around.
Rain continuing to pelt down here at Fallston again. Not that I'm complaining. Happy that the rain is coming because we've been really short on rain.
I did that. I just looked up to the lights, Don, and a big drop of water came off my umbrella.
Yeah, not good. Yeah, don't look up. Don't open your mouth looking up. That's the big problem.
So, one thing I will say, Don, is John Carroll is so good at passing that they've gotten the ball inside the 30-yard line a couple times and looked for the pass again. And at some point, I think they should unload a shot. If you know what I mean.
I do. And Ray, one thing you may hear through the field mics, the wind. The wind has picked up. So now we talked about rain and the field conditions, but what does wind do to soccer players?
Well, it adjusts the ball, and you think the ball's coming to you here, and then all of a sudden it lands 2 yards to your right. So, especially on goalie punts. Nice ball. Now there's a girl through. Oh, that was a good job by the left defender.
Lovely. Yeah, the Fallston Cougars able to stop that. You know, Ray, when I grew up, I wanted to be a weatherman, you know, because you can say 20% chance that it'll rain. If it rains,
Right.
you'll say, I told you I thought it might. If it doesn't, I'll say, I told you it probably wouldn't.
Yeah.
You can never be wrong.
That's right. I know a couple of weathermen. I'm going to talk to them
I
about that.
say that because you and I talked earlier, and the rain was supposed to stop at 5.
Yeah.
It was going to be cloudy. Well, yeah, it's cloudy, but the clouds are dumping water on us.
Yeah, the last I looked, it was supposed to be 20% at one point, 30% at another point. We're getting 100% at all the points.
Not that we're complaining again.
I had one of my favorite soccer games ever, Jopptown against Edgewood, and my sophomore year, and it just poured the whole time. Shocked that they didn't call it, but it was a sunny rain, and we had so much fun.
No lightning. The lightning,
No.
of course, is the enemy.
Yeah.
Here we come now, Fallston. Nice crowd here tonight.
It's a good ball, Don. She should one-time strike it.
Oh, great job by the goalie coming out to make that play. That's Coach
Oh, that's a
coming
nice
out.
long ball.
If she had laid back, she had no chance to get
No,
that.
if she would have been back 4 yards more, she puts it by her into the goal.
Illicit Coates, give her credit.
Did you see what she did, Don? She actually had to come out of the box, so she couldn't use her hands,
Yeah.
so she blocked it with her body.
Yep. So that was the first real opportunity we've seen for either team to score.
Well, and here's the unsung hero in that. The pass was beautiful. The person put that ball right in stride to her to be able to take that strike.
John Carroll on the attack now. Fallston making the defensive play.
So I don't think either team is subbed yet, Don, have they?
I don't think so, no.
So one thing we don't know about is the depth of the team.
Yeah.
You know, different coaches sub different ways. Some coaches, your bench doesn't play much, or the second half of your bench doesn't play much. You and I have seen this in basketball games. But then, since these teams don't have easy games, Don,
Yeah.
it's harder to get the bench in.
Yeah. And it's interesting, too, because this is a non-league game, so it doesn't count in terms of postseason
But
play.
they want to win.
Exactly, yeah. Especially if you're Fallston, you've lost 2 years in a row. You
Right.
want to show that you can play with this team. And John Carroll, it's a conference, and we talked about that, Ray. It may be the only, maybe lacrosse, where they play the A conference. And if you're not familiar, the IAAM A and B conference and C conference, it is just that, A the top, B, and then C. To play in the A conference, you are playing against nationally ranked teams,
Yes.
game in and game out.
So we got a little squirt around here. Can she keep it in? She did. She made a diagonal drop. That was a nice strike. Oh, see that ball? It's slippery.
Yes, it is.
Normally that ball would be right in the keeper's hands, but it popped up and she caught it again.
Ray, you're going to use gloves in this case, but
Yes.
those gloves get soaked as well.
Yes, they do. And if it has a certain kind of material on it, that material can be slippery as well.
It was an interesting punt. She kept it low, right up to her player.
So, Don, there was something I wanted to point out to you. Oh, we got a foul here. One thing that I love, and I've talked about with you, and you also love it, is they have multiple three-sport girls here on John Carroll.
Yeah.
Piper McHugh is playing soccer, basketball, lacrosse. She's committed to Ohio State. Callista Coates, she is soccer, basketball, softball. Grace
Oh, here we go.
Marquetti.
John Carroll with a chance. Nope.
That should be a
Got
shot.
it. Oh, just
Okay.
wide. That was a shot on goal, but it was wide, and Cox didn't have to make the save.
Grace Marquetti, soccer, basketball, lacrosse. Kelly Friedel, soccer, indoor track, outdoor track. Lily Baumgartner, soccer, indoor track. And Danica Ross, soccer, indoor track and track. That's a rarity these days, Don.
And believe, too, that, you know, at John Carroll, where you're taking an academic load.
Yes.
You know, my granddaughter plays 3 sports with an academic load, and boy, how tough that is. Here's the first corner kick we've seen for John Carroll.
That's a good ball. Oops, a little bit behind where she wanted to be.
I mean, you think about it, you're practicing every day, you're playing 2 or 3 times a week.
Well, that's a nice shot, Don.
Oh, man, oh, good play.
So
by
I thought
Cox.
it was going to be a little bit higher, didn't you, when it left her foot?
Yeah. But Cox made that catch, and again, that ball is so slick. In a game like this, 1 goal could be the difference in the game.
So another thing to answer your question from earlier is the ball can start to get heavier.
Yeah. Oh,
And
didn't know that.
Yes, and so, you know, they may have to replace the ball with another ball eventually.
Coming up on the halfway mark of the first period, no score, 22 minutes and 30 seconds left in this first half.
That was a very good switch field. That should be a one-timer to that young lady there.
One-timer meaning?
Look at the girl all the way across diagonal. Now she freed up, but the girl in the right wing was open if she would have switched fields. That's a good give and go. Now she should shoot it or serve it. That could be a goal. Good deflection.
Oh, great job by the Fallston defender.
Yep.
Couldn't see a number, but that ball was in the goal, and the fullback came and knocked it away.
Yes.
Cox was able to make the save.
Now, Don, even though she touched it before the goalie did, they don't consider that a pass, so that's why the goalie was able to pick it up.
Trying to pick up her number. It looks like it might be number 10, and that is. That's Casey Resch. Casey, the junior fullback, who made that great last-minute save. That ball was right on the cusp of going in.
Yes, it was. Well, good anticipation. They've been doing that tap pass to the outside over and over, so the right defender for Fallston anticipated that, or right midfielder.
John Carroll ball. Fallston fans wanted a foul on that one.
I didn't see it.
I didn't either.
I don't think that was a foul.
Patriots, number 13, Ellie Turner.
But you will get some people in the fans asking for a foul every play.
Janice Rhodes, who's a good friend of yours and mine as well, does field hockey for us. She said she also officiates, and her first thing is she comes to the fans and say, how many of you know the rules about field hockey? And nobody raises their hand, so she says, okay, then I don't want to hear you complaining about my calls. You cheer for your team, but let us make the calls.
Well, I don't think this game has been too physical at all in any way yet. And I think that's partially because you got two very highly skilled teams.
Yep.
And the coaches both play a good ball control passing game, so they're not going to play bully ball like some teams will.
Haley Howe, the coach for John Carroll, been, you said, I think 11 years there. John Salbeck in his third year as head coach at Fallston. Had a winning season every year. Won the state title in his first year in 2022. That's hard to top, you know? You ought to wait to win maybe in your third year.
Oh, yeah, and the gentleman you talked about before that we were talking to, it's in the press box, he's a big fan and knowledgeable of the sports. And he made the comment that it's okay if we go 8-6 overall.
Yeah.
Because we're going to play 3 private schools. We're going to play a couple Howard County teams. We're going to win 3/4 of our game in Harford County, if not more. But then we're going to be ready for the playoffs.
Yeah. That's interesting. Some coaches have the philosophy they want to win the regular season.
Yes.
Others say, hey, the regular season is just a warm-up, for the postseason. Good job on that defense.
Well, I'll just tell you this, and we can't do every team in the county, Don, but when you got to play Fallston against Bel Air, C. Milton Wright, Patterson Mill, North Hartford, Haverty Grace won a state championship last year.
What's this bounce? Oh, good job.
It's half your games are really, really tough teams.
We talk about that. When you look at the Chesapeake division of the UCBAC, you're playing Bel Air, you're playing Fallston, Patterson Mill, C. Milton Wright. And the same thing, maybe to a higher extent, the A Conference and the IAAM. You are playing nationally, I mean, not state-wise, but nationally ranked teams, like almost every game.
Yes. Here's a good ball. Oops. A little too close to each other.
Hit off the back of the John Carroll players.
Yes. Nice moves. So if she can gather this, she'll be in a good position. She needs a, and that was a hard ball, and it was a good job by the Patriot girl to get that under control at all.
Good defense.
Yeah. She had the forward had to bring that ball down. That would have been a tough ball to volley.
Fallston 2-on-1.
Good job by the defender taking it wide. Fallston pushing him back there in the corner more, Don. Now you can throw the ball directly to your goalie and they can pick it up. So that is a play that some people will think to do.
Number 9, Piper McHugh.
Piper McHugh.
on, Rube.
Keep on, one.
Hey, John. Can you tell us when we come back on? Okay. Tell us when we're back on. I will.
All right, let's go, Fallston.
Goal kick for the Cougars.
Yes, nice. Lucky.
Let's go, Fallston!
Let's go, Fallston. It's a
Direct
field.
kick for Fallston.
It's a field.
Let's go, yeah! All right, Ted! Or Rachel. You got it, Warren. Let's go!
Good call, Russ.
Let's go, Warren! Yeah.
Step.
Let's get there! Come on!
Double, watch it double.
Good challenge.
Great pressure.
Okay, good job, Orange.
Come here.
Yeah.
Great hand. Good hands, Maddie.
Good job, Maddie! Come on, Orange!
Yes, beautiful. Support.
Pressure!
One. There you go. You gotta go long.
No. Hey, John.
Double her, double her. Double her. Double her. Let's go. No offside.
John's the video still working. Yeah.
Good hustle, 3.
EFI. So shorting. Video's working and we got natural sound coming from the cameras.
In for John Carroll, number 23, Grace Marchetti. And number 11, Bella Otone. In for Fallston, number 12, Elena Williams. And number 23, Amber Shulman.
Good work, defense! Lead on my $25 thing. Come on, Fallston!
Number 2, Emma Fuchs takes the corner kick for the Patriots.
Good job, Fallston! Good out!
Okay, can you hear? That was a good bit of possession there, back and forth. We're down to 8 minutes to go, and it's still 0-0.
Yeah, hey, Ray, thanks. And we had a little technical problem there caused by the rain. Good job by Tim. Tim came up and made things right. About 17 minutes when we lost sound. You've been watching it. You've seen Maddie Cox make, I think, 2 of the most outstanding saves I've seen in a long time, Ray. We're talking about the Fallston goalie.
Well, right now, Don, I would probably give John Carroll about a 65% possession control. But Fallston isn't just playing defense. They've had some chances, too.
Yeah. Maddie Cox, the one save, she came out and made an impossible save, caught it above her head. And the next one, she had to dig in and make a dive to the right and knock the ball away. Impressed with Maddie Cox, the goalie for the Fallston Cougars.
Well, both goalies have kept the ball out of the net and a very good opportunity for the offense. So, last year, Don, this game was 5-3?
Yeah,
I mean,
it was.
8 goals in one game is very uncommon, and now we got 0 goals.
Calissa Coach, the goalie for John Carroll. Again, we mentioned both seniors, and both have really lived up to the experience they have.
So I liked what the Fallston, the John Carroll player did there. She didn't win that clear, but she made sure the other girl didn't win the ball. So she didn't let the opposing player get any body on that ball. You can push or shield the right amount without getting a foul call. I guess you could say that in almost every sport.
7 minutes coming up on the 7-minute mark, no score. Boy, what a game. As you mentioned, last year 5-3, the game where Fallston lost to John Carroll. 8 goals in a game so far, just about almost a full half, and no goals at all.
Yep.
Good step.
Field conditions can play into that.
You think, I thought we might see a slip and a slide and a goal, sort of a sloppy goal.
So one-time clear. And both goalies have been sure-footed today, too, so far.
Yeah. And what confidence the John Carroll defenders have, kicking the ball back. Haven't seen that as much from Fallston.
Well, those clears can mean a lot, Don. That was incredible footwork there.
What speed. Nice takeaway by the Cougars. Push, then finally the push is called. I think you noticed, Ray, that the push occurred. They allowed the play to continue until Fallston lost the ball.
Yeah. So I'm going to see if they called the push or the out of bounds because they were right near the line.
Austin Miller, Brian Coleman, and Benjamin Papoy, the referees tonight, have done a wonderful job in some very, let's say, trying conditions.
So the main official in the middle of the field, Don, calls more of the action, and the sideline officials, they get the out of bounds, but they can call anything they see as well.
So if you have two officials, then it's an entirely different game, right?
Yes.
From 40 yards out.
Boston with a free kick here.
So they're gonna. This is a long way to take a shot. Not that it can't work, but you want to chip it towards the left post, halfway between the left post and where the pack is right now, and your teammates run onto the ball. That's a good service right there, and that should be a. Oh.
And it hit the pipe. And
then
now
they
a
fouled it
goal.
up.
A
Fouled it
goal
up.
for the Fallston Cougars at 5 minutes and 10 seconds left in the half.
So that all started from that perfect service, Don. Caused trouble because it was a really tough ball for John Carroll to clear.
First shot hit the pipe, the right pipe, and then the second one bounced in and kicked in. Trying to get, we don't have a monitor to see the goal that scored.
For Fallston, number 6, Ella Litz.
I think she said Emma Litz, something like that.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, number 6, Emma Litz is the goalie. The goal scorer, I should say.
So now this is a pivotal point here, Don. That's a foul.
Pardon me, it's Ella Litz, number 6.
Yes. So right now, Fallston is rejuvenated and pumped up, and John Carroll's in a little bit of shock. So how do both teams react now? That's the question.
Carissa coach did just about everything she could do, Ray, on that play. She made one save. The ball, luckily for John Carroll, hit the pipe on the first one, but right on the spot there, Litz got the rebound.
Right.
1-0.
Garbage goals are more common than people think, Don, in sports. It's, people always ask me how many beautiful goals I scored. I said not nearly as many as ugly goals I've scored.
We had a kid at Aberdeen named Robert Hench back in the day, and Robert led the league in scoring. I don't think he made one really pretty goal. He was just so gritty that he was there, kind of like remember Phil Regan, the Oriole manager, who they called the Vulture because he picked up like 17 wins by hanging on, getting the win.
Mm-hmm.
That was kind of like Robert. He was there. The ball was free, and he would hit in the net. Aberdeen that year, 77, won the state title.
Yeah. I came home from my first college game, and my dad said, "How many goals you scored?" I said, 2, and he goes, "Were they good?" I said, "No. I just ran 2 balls in the goal on corner kicks."
But they all count.
They all count. So, that was not a drop she wanted. So
John
she
Carroll.
can save this.
Nope. They didn't call it, so it looks like she did save it.
Oh, they called it. She's putting it down for a goal kick. It's also hard for us to hear the far whistle, Don, so we won't be able to know everything. That ball barely went out.
3 minutes, just about coming up on the 3-minute mark left here in the first half.
Now, did you see how the goalie passed that ball to the right defender in the box? That's also a new rule the last 5 years or so. You used to have to clear the box with the ball, and then the international rules said, why? Why can't we just pass the ball to a teammate and then play the ball upfield? That's nice dribbling there. She can get through this mess. So they're calling a trip there.
Against the Patriots, so the ball will go over to Fallston.
I thought that was a fairly clean stick, but they must have saw something we didn't.
I'm really impressed with the fans here tonight. By no means do we have a full house, but
No.
it's a Monday night and it's raining and it's yucky. And they're out here with their umbrellas and their rain gear.
Well, you don't see as many students, Don. Uh-oh, we got a steal here.
Well, good play by John Carroll to take it away.
Another takeaway.
Nobody there.
No. So
Good cross.
I will give a call out to what you just said. The parents are here, Don. The parents are here getting soaked.
Yeah, yeah,
And that's good parenting right there. Be there for your kid.
yeah. How many sidelines have you sat on and stood on
Push up all down the right wing now.
over the years?
Oh, my gosh, yes.
And we would love to replay those days if we could.
Yeah, God rest my mother's soul. She came to every one of my games, and she had no idea what I was doing, but she cheered for me anyhow.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's great. We were talking about the Ripkins before, and Cal Ripken Sr. was a legend, but Vi Ripken, the matriarch of the Ripken family, oh, my goodness, you would come to a game, she had her lawn chair, one of those like low-slung lawn
Yes.
chairs, right behind home plate. And every game, I don't care home or away, there was Vi Ripken.
Yes, she. My wife played slow pitch softball with Ellie Ripken after they were all done their college days and stuff. And Vi would come, and sometimes Cal Senior. And you're exactly right. Over at Thomas Run Park, I think it's called at Hartford Community College. She would sit right behind home plate.
Yep. Yeah, she was not say a lot. She wasn't, anyhow offensive, just there to support.
Yep. Well, it's a good view from that spot if you can get it.
Oh, yeah. And, of course, Cal Sr. was off managing, and it was always Mrs. Ripken who was the one who took the kids to all the games and so forth. So I think Cal, I've heard interviewed and has said many times that the real hero was not his dad because his
Right.
dad wasn't there. It was his mom.
Yep.
Cal Ripken now 64
That's a
years
nice
young. Can you believe that?
Yeah, now he's part owner of the Orioles.
Yes,
so.
he is. Yeah. So happy to see that, to see him back, in an active role. Coming up on the end of this first half, down to 15 seconds now. Looks like Fallston
They're just
will
going
take
to
that
stall
1-0
this kick.
lead.
And this isn't usually like international soccer, Don, where the referee has injury time on their clock. They'll actually stop and start the clock on injury time in high school.
And there is the horn that ends the first half. With the Fallston Cougars leading 1-0, Ella Litz with the goal at 5 minutes and 10 seconds. It was a rebound goal. She collected it after it hit the pipe and put it right in the net, past Coach, the goalie, who had really no chance to save it. What a half.
Well, what I'm curious now, Don, and we'll talk about this when we come back, is will John Carroll be able to regroup that ball possession that they were having and get some chances? But as I said to you earlier in the game, they're getting inside the 30 a lot, but they're looking for one more pass. And at some point, they may just have to start taking more shots.
Okay, well, thanks for tuning in and staying with us. We'll be back right after this break for the intermission with the second half of game, the Fallston Cougars leading by a 1-0 score. We'll be back. Well, we're back with you at Fallston High School, and we'd like to say that the moon is out, the rain has stopped, the wind would be a lie because the rain is continuing, but hey, it's all good. 1-0 to score, Fallston leading. Ray, you were talking about maybe a change in strategy if you were John Selbach, the coach for Fallston.
Yeah, so I would probably give John Carroll probably 60-65% of possession in the other end, I think you would agree.
Okay.
They had a little bit more ball possession and control. Not that Fallston didn't get chances. They had some very good chances. But John Carroll is usually ahead in these games.
Yeah.
And Fallston is in a good position right now. So what you'll see happen sometimes is he may drop a strong forward to midfield. He might drop a strong midfielder to defender. I'm just curious to see if he does it.
Yeah, sometimes you think about taking your foot off the gas, if you
Right.
will, and playing a conservative game. But soccer is a great deal different than other sports
Right.
where, you get 5 or 6 or 7 scores. One score sometimes wins it in soccer. 1-0,
Yes.
2-1, 3-2.
The
Well-
first 10 minutes of this half will tell a lot.
Yeah.
And what you will maybe see Fallston do is eventually drop a forward and go to a 4-man midfield. So I'm curious to see if they'll do that, but we'll know pretty soon.
I want to compliment Kelly Jarrah, the exec director of Hartford TV, that we're out in the rain, and this is no small thing to have our crews out in the rain, doing a great job.
Oh, they are.
They switch sides now, of course. The Fallston Cougars going from right to left across your TV screen.
Nice give and go. Almost got it to her.
John Carroll going from left to right. John Carroll in the white visiting uniforms, coming in with a 4-1-1 record. Fallston at 4-3, having won 3 games in a row. Ray, we talked about that JV. 23 straight wins for the Fallston JV. They lost in this game 1-0 to John Carroll.
Very, very tight game. Well played. And that's the thing about schools like this. People don't realize this. John Carroll does not have a high population in their school either.
Yeah.
So compared to some of the other private schools, so it's very important that their JV players are a good feeder program.
And a big JV program, too. We were complimenting the coach about they had maybe 15 or 20 players on the JV.
Yes. She said she had 22, actually, but I think a few of them were not dressed because they were injured.
Yeah.
And I think, Don, that there was something in our notes about a player on one of the 2 teams that had a complete ACL injury last year.
Yeah.
And she's back 100%. I'll try to find that.
That's wonderful. Yeah, we were doing the field hockey game between John Carroll and C. Milton Wright the other day, and we were talking about the number of injuries that have occurred.
Well, there's a pro and con to some of the injuries you can get on turf. It's a cleaner, truer game, but you just don't know. I wanted to tell a couple players here, Don, that John Carroll, Alana Stevens is committed to Virginia Commonwealth University. Ellie Turner is going to Bridgewater College. Addie Carter is going to Salisbury University. Emma Fuchs, East Carolina University. And even though she's only a junior, Piper already knows she's going to Ohio State.
From the John Carroll School to the Ohio State. I like it.
Yeah, how many schools have the part, Don?
I don't know. Back in the day, I'm dredging up old memories that Fallston High School, Frank Stoltz, who was the principal, the first principal of the school, who liked referring to Fallston as the Fallston High School, which didn't go really well with some of the other schools in the county. Fallston, who began in 1977, I was around when that happened. They carved out a section of Bel Air and created Fallston High School.
It was, not far after Joppatown. And then C. Milton Wright came
in 80,
through in the 80s, early 80s.
Yeah, 1980. Bel Air at that time, in 1977, had like 3,700 students,
oh my gosh,
a 900 student graduating class.
Yeah, you and I were just talking about some of those old teams they had there with Bill Brown and track and field. And I think they won some state championship games, if I'm not mistaken, in football and other sports, but I'm not. You would know more about that than me.
Yeah, the Bel Air at that time with Al Seski, when he was the football coach, they would play Salesianum and, the big schools. That was quite a powerhouse situation.
That was a good through ball there to the right side, and she did a little spin move, but the defender was able to gather that.
Here comes the Cougar, the Patriots trying to tie this game down 1-0. The goal scored at 5 minutes and 10 seconds by Ella Litz for Fallston on a rebound.
Ellie Turner from John Carroll, father Todd coached with me, and we coached a really talented group of boys that went on to do very well. And her brother Cole plays for the Philadelphia Union.
Huh?
One of the few male players I can tell you that I've coached or know that made it that far.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a certain level. You're great in high school, and can you be great in college? And then the next step, can you be great with the pros?
And I think the way that Philadelphia Union program works is you don't even have to do college. You can go right from their developmental program into the pro if you're good enough, which he was able to do. He's got some playing time.
By the way, we had a chance to chat with Roy Williams, the father of Elena Williams. Roy's one of those parents you were talking about, sitting here in the rain, watching his sophomore daughter. Elena, by the way, led the conference in scoring, Ray, last year as a freshman.
Right.
I mean, we're talking about the entire, Chesapeake Conference.
Well, and the thing is, Don, that shows you the sacrifice some players make. She probably is playing another position this year for the good of the team. And I know myself, I've had this happen to me in college. I know other players have had this happen where they're like, I know you can score, but we need you here.
Yeah.
And if you go here, you're going to help us win more games. And somebody else will do the job
Yeah.
up top,
Yeah, Elena's still playing at the forward position. She hasn't been able to score quite as much this
No,
year.
but guess what happens to her now? She draws the best defender from the
Yeah,
other team.
that's a good point.
That's
Good
what
point.
people are going to do to her.
Yeah.
And when you do that, you're opening up other good teammates to put the ball in the net.
Well, Fallston with wins now over Bel Air at 1-0 and over Patterson Mill at 2-1, two of their biggest opponents. So, this game is so important because it's for bragging rights.
Right.
John Carroll. You think of John Carroll and Bel Air, you say, hey, they're the arch rivals. But tell you what, Fallston and John Carroll, that's another great rivalry.
Oh, definitely.
Not that they're neighboring schools, but
John Carroll has a good rivalry against Bel Air, Fallston, and Seamount, right?
Yeah.
Now I will tell you, based on what you said, they have beaten 2/3 of their top competition for the upper division in Harford County.
Yeah.
That means Fallston and Seamount Wright are probably going to battle it out for the county championship.
Yeah.
Or I guess conference championship.
I'm constantly not upset. I'm just sad that John Carroll doesn't play more in the county. They're in the IAAM,
Right.
in the women's division, and they play a tremendous schedule, and that's all good. But boy, I'd love seeing John Carroll play in Bel Air and Sea Milton more, and we love having them on TV. We just enjoy an opportunity to have John Carroll be on TV.
Well, most of their athletes are Harford County kids, so it's great. So now we have
Looks like a corner kick coming up.
yes.
Fallston with another opportunity.
Yeah, so if you remember earlier in the game, Don, they served one in the box that bounced around and in front of the other team's goal. Let's see if John Carroll does a better job of clearing this one out. Went through again.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, the wind has picked up and it's blowing in our face. Now, again, I'm not whining, but Patrick Mull offered us a tent.
Can we accept next time?
Yeah.
Nice shot.
Oh, great. Oh, that was a tremendous shot. Good save by
So,
Coach.
Don, I don't usually complain to you, but please accept next time.
No, Mr. Mull, we don't need a tent.
We're tough, but now we realize we're not.
We're idiots.
That's a
is
nice
what we
ball.
are. Oh, great defensive play. That almost looked like, and it is
He
a call.
called the foul.
Yeah. Is
And
that
Don,
inside?
That's just outside from what I see.
Oh,
I don't think it's a penalty kick,
32 minutes, 10 seconds.
but I can't exactly make out the box. I think it's at the 19-yard line. So keeper's calling for a wall. So for the fans to know, you're supposed to get 10 yards away. They never hardly do. And the referee has to back them up, Don.
That was a delayed call, and he did it on purpose because John Carroll still had possession of the
Yes.
ball.
Do you see how close those girls are?
That's not 10 yards.
That's not 10. So
Not the way, referee.
he's telling them to
yeah,
come back where he is. It's
backing
good
them up.
refereeing.
Yep. And
Now-
good if you're Fallston. They don't back us up. Hey.
Now, on TV, Don, you'll see them bring out a little spray paint can and draw a line and tell them that's where it's supposed to be. No spray paint line is going to last tonight if they would even have that.
Here comes the big play of the game. John
Oh,
Carroll looking to
gosh.
tie it.
That's a good.
Oh, right
Okay,
at the
he got
goalie.
it through the wall, but
Yeah.
so Don, the wall gave her that.
Yeah.
He gave her through the wall, not around the wall.
Maddie Cox with the save. That ball was kicked right at her, but still she had to catch a very wet ball
Yes.
with wet hands, or wet gloves in this case. So Fallston dodged a bullet there on that
That's a
penalty
good through
kick.
ball if she could save it. She probably cut it back. No, she served it. So
you were talking about, Ray, maybe a change in strategy. I don't see that Fallston has backed off.
no, they haven't backed off, but one thing I will tell you is, now see how the right back is running all the way up for the kick? She's taking the kick, and I love that because the right defender has time to serve this corner kick and still run back to her position. So let's see if she follows the play or jogs back to her position. Now, she should be putting the ball a little bit closer to the goal.
Yeah, it's a field goal, but it doesn't count for 3 points. Fallston has now had, let's see, they've had 2 corner kicks.
Well, I'm not going to name the name, but the goalies here are punting the ball better than the punter on my football team I follow so far. And that field goal was better than the field goal kicker I root for.
You had to bring it up, didn't you? Yeah, you had to bring it up. Well, at least they won the game. We're talking about the Ravens.
I know.
Could have been worse.
So that should be a drop. Well, she spun around. She got away with it.
Great
Wow.
job. Great job by Fallston. Great takeaway.
If that ball would have been fielded by the forward on Fallston, she would have been offsides. So that's why she didn't go after it. Plus, it wasn't near her anyhow.
Yeah, that was a...
Now, I talked about strategy, Don. It's happened the other way around. John Carroll is committing more players up top than they did before. You see they only have the 2 girls back here, which is going to make them more vulnerable to giving up a second goal.
Boy, and that second goal would be so important.
Well, 2 seasons ago, it was either 2 seasons ago or last season, we had a game of Fallston against Patterson Mill, and it was 0-0 for the longest time. And once Fallston got 1 goal, Pattersonville had to commit players up, and then Fallston banged in 2 more. Because it's a risk-reward thing that you have to do when you're down by a goal. Now, there's plenty of time. We still have 28 minutes, but that's a good decision by the defender because the goalie would not have been able to get that before the forward.
By the way, I didn't get a chance to tell you, Addison Reese, number 2, young lady that we sort of earmarked before the game. Great defensive play on this near side. Just keep your eye on her. Addison Reese, senior, and we also mentioned the other senior, Sarah Farley, number 7.
Right.
Playing wonderful ball for Fallston.
So look how many people were up on the offense right there and back on the defense. So Fallston is committing more people back, and John Carroll is committing more people up. Here's a chance here. She should strike it. Blocked it. Follow.
On the goal!
And in.
The Cougars have been equaled now by the Patriots at 27-43 of the second half.
So, Don, that is our second rebound goal. She shot the ball. It was blocked right back to her. She followed it and hit that low ball in the goal. And if you remembered earlier in the game, I talked about the low shot. That's the toughest one to save in these conditions.
John Carroll goal by number 2, Emma Fuchs.
Emma Fuchs on the goal, Don.
Emma Fuchs with the goal, the junior. So we are equal now at 1-1.
Now you're going to see John Carroll pep up the pace now, and the coach is going to tell her players that they can get back into their regular formation a little bit more.
So we're tied at 1-1 after 27 minutes here left in the second half.
So that center back, the right center back there for Fallston, Don, cleared that ball with a 15, 20-yard head ball. And she looks like she's a pretty tall girl. I was that small forward that played next to the tall defender that would just head it back over me. It's a little bit frustrating.
Not fair.
I could jump pretty high too, but they could just stand there and head it over me.
We're speaking of overtime. If we get to that point, 2 10-minute overtimes, sudden golden goal. I've never heard it called that, but that's the way soccer refers to it. I call it sudden death. Maybe that's not right. But yeah, it is 2 10-minute overtimes. In a non-playoff game, they would be tied if the teams tie after 2 10-minute overtimes if there's no goal.
So where I get confused on is I've done some games where they didn't do overtime and it was non-conference, but then I've done games where they did. So
JV they don't for sure. But
correct.
I was told by the official before the game that there will be 2 10-minute overtimes possibly if it's tied. Now, of course, we got a long way to go.
It's a good diagonal run, and then she's going to serve it, but nobody there to serve it to, but she has it back. Oops, a little bit of a miss there on a weird lob.
Yeah.
That ball had some backspin on it.
Boy, Ray, you mentioned it. John Carroll has really taken the pace up by bringing more offensive players
Yes.
up to the front. Now that it's tied, do you think they'll continue that strategy?
So you still see only 3 back, and they have more up. So, you know, they were playing a flat back 4, and now they look like they're doing more of a diamond. So you see the girl in the back further, and then there's a girl in the front of the diamond, and that allows them to keep possession upfield a little bit more. That's a good service. Oh, wow. Now, that forward almost ran onto that ball, Don. Probably missed her by 2 yards, or she has a chance to slice that into the goal.
Maddie Cox with the save.
Good job by her to come out, because that's not one you want to wait for.
Well, good punt almost to the 50-yard line.
I tell my goalies that they are supposed to be the biggest ball hogs on the field. Tip it through. She could have tipped that through to the other forward. That would have been a break to the goal. But it was slightly behind her. Oh, it's a miss, Don.
Fallston with a 2-on-2. Have to be careful about that offside, you know. And
Right.
maybe, Ray, you could explain for folks who are not aficionados about soccer like me.
Well, it's funny because one of my best friends from high school's daughter is playing club soccer, and he asked me the questions about her. You have to have 2 defenders between you and the goal to receive a pass, because if you don't, you're offside. The one of them is the goalie. The other one is usually the second one's the defender. So that's why you see the defenders sometimes step up right before there's a free kick, because they want to put the players behind them, put them in offside position. Now, technically the rule is the ball has to be coming to you in a goal-scoring situation. We could have a loose ball shot here, Don.
Yeah. Cougars on the attack.
So my friend said to me, but my daughter and this other girl were the last 2 players behind the defense, and we passed it. My daughter passed it to her teammate. I said, was her teammate in front of her? He said, yes. You cannot make a forward pass to a teammate behind
Ball
the
in
defense.
front of the goal. I'm sorry, Ray.
That's
Just
okay.
saved away by the John Carroll Patriots. That ball was right there. Had the Cougars been able to get a foot on it, they could have scored that go-ahead goal.
So what you see there, Don, is they committed 8 players up on that free kicking opportunity, and they still do. If you see it, there's only 2 Fallston Cougars behind the 45-yard line. All the rest are ahead of it.
Cougars on the attack.
Now this should be, she's okay with the throw in. Both teams are doing the same thing, Don. They're pushing one or 2 defenders up a little bit more. Now this left defender on Fallston has to stay there because there's a John Carroll player there. But they're not committing more back than they have to.
Good defense by the Patriots.
Good step. Good job coming to the ball. Slightly behind her. Nice stick from Fallston. When I say stick down, I mean you're basically blocking the other person's shot or kick.
Number 13, Ellie
It's
Turner
Casey
into the game for
Casey
John
Rush, I should say, number 10 for Fallston, making that defensive play. Boy, nice throw in.
Good
Rush
trap.
again.
Good trap. She settled that ball very nicely. That's a nice little chip pass, and if she can do it again, nope. I think that's off of Fallston. It can be a quick throw in. So, Don, you cannot be offsides on a throw in. So, if you get the ball, oh my gosh.
Is that a goal?
Side of the net.
No, on the side
So
of
that
the
was
net.
smart
Oh, my.
goalkeeping. She realized it was going to miss. We
Yeah.
can't see it from our angle.
Yeah.
So I just did the person at the crowd at the baseball game yelling when they think it's a home run. And it's, 40 yards foul. But
Coming up on the halfway mark of the second half.
yeah, this should be an exciting 20 minutes. Both teams are in it, and they're excited. Still haven't seen a ton of subbing, Don.
No. It's the kind of night where, you don't get tired a lot because it's a cool night. And the adrenaline tends to keep you moving along.
So good job fighting in the middle both ways.
Fallston fans wanted a penalty, didn't get it.
Ball will probably go outside, but can she save it? Nice save. Nice service, but nope, out of bounds.
Nobody there on the cross. Coming up on that half time or half of the second half.
For the Patriots, number 3, Emmy King, and number 26, Ella Jantz.
Subs coming in.
In for Fallston.
Ellie King and Emma
23,
Getz, I think they said.
Amber Schaumann.
Running clock coming right up on the halfway mark of the second half.
So, Don, I said they haven't been subbing yet much, and they subbed right away.
Yeah, well, they heard you.
Me, yeah.
They did. They said, Ray said we haven't subbed enough, so we did. You had power.
But you're more generous than me. You said they're probably not tired. I think some of them were tired.
You think?
Yes.
Hey, they're young.
We're speaking of much older men
Yeah,
who
exactly.
we would have paid 2 minutes and wanted to sub.
Coach, take me out. I'm gassed. You've only been in 10 seconds. Well, I had to run across the field to get in.
That's right. It's the most I've run in 3 years. So there's no left back. There's a right back and a center back. And the left back is all the way up on the sideline for John Carroll.
I've noticed a different strategy. In that case, John Carroll would have tapped the ball back to the goalie. Fallston doesn't. They tend to want to clear it out of there.
A little confusion on there whether she should have kept that ball or passed it to her outside overlapping teammate. I think they just miscommunicated. Otherwise, she would have cut that ball in the middle and served the ball across. But look at the orange defense there, Don. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 inside the 20-yard line, almost 8. She might shoot. Nice shot.
Just a bit high. Good job by Cox.
But see, that's why, I mean, I'm not going to be the rec soccer parent that's yelling, kick it, shoot it. But there is a time just to unload one once in a while and see what happens.
Yeah. And that was that case.
Yeah.
Maddie Cox kicking it away.
Nice flick head ball. Back, well, she didn't really flick it. She mistimed it wrong way. So now you're going to see, oh, she waited on that almost too long. Nice job fighting for that ball. Might be a switch field to her time. Nope, she went down to her side.
Two players go down.
Yeah. Now that was a very fast forward going against a slightly faster defender. You'll normally see your speed up top and then back, Don, but what am I saying? In soccer, there's speed everywhere these days.
Yeah. Well, you're right. You go back, years. The defenders were big and bulky and
Bigfoot.
And intimidating. Now you just get that fast, quick, young player. It's funny how the game evolves over the years.
This is one of the toughest free kicks, Don, because it's too far to shoot and it's hard to chip it. But let's see, it gets to the goalie.
Looking for the ball to maybe bounce off the goalie.
Well, and what they generally want to do there is serve that about 10 yards shorter and make it tough for the defenders to head ball clear it. She's in a really crowd there. Let's see what she does. That was the wise decision there. That girl's on sides. They switch for the ball. She should serve it to the middle to her right away. Good job on the defense. She gets it back.
Coming out, making the save is Cox. We said she had 32 saves coming in. 3 shutouts. 3 out of the last 4 games have been shutouts for her.
Well, she was a rebound play from this being a shutout so far today.
Yeah. Both goals sort of on the rebound.
Both goalies have done an excellent job.
They have. Coates and Cox.
So she's looking to swing that ball around the defense. In the old days, we used to say, like, work it around the horseshoe, like back, around, and over. And these players are so good at controlling the ball these days. Good step up by the right defender for Fallston, but they've got it back. And if she gets by her, this is trouble. She's off, Don. She should be off.
No call made.
Wow, and it's goalie's down. We got 2 players banged up on that, Don. The goalie's hurt and the player that was attacking the ball. You don't like to see those kind of plays.
Yeah. The John Carroll offensive player and Maddie Cox the goalie.
And neither player is trying to hurt the other player there.
Yeah.
I've had a few parents yell at me for hitting their goalie child, and I'm watching the ball. And my job is to poke the ball by the goalie, and then the goalie's job is to deflect or block the ball. So I don't think either player was at fault there.
Timeout on the field. It looks like Cox is going to have to come out of the game.
Wow, that could be big. Now they may do make sure she's okay. We don't know if she got hit in the head or not, Don. If she got hit in the head and she's acting funny at all, it's referee protocol to make her go out of the game.
Yeah.
And did you see if there was an athletic trainer here today, Don?
I did not. There
I
normally
think there
is.
is. I think I saw a young lady. I'll tell you why I think there is. I see the green golf cart, and that's usually what they use. So somebody is probably over there checking her out.
The Cougars, number 99, Taylor Roth.
It's a tough situation, Don, for Taylor Roth, I think they said, coming in.
Yeah.
Cold. Didn't even get a chance to warm up with 15 minutes to go in a tie game against a crosstown rival. And she's being tested right away.
Yeah, 15:49 left in the regulation, 1-1 the score. Take note now, Maddie Cox out of the game. Don't know how long she will be out. And as you said, we can't hazard a guess on what the injury was. Seemed to be able to walk off the field on her own power without a whole lot, no limping or anything like that.
That's what makes me think she might have got an upper body injury or hit in the head, because she wasn't limping. And I don't know what the call is, Don, because...
Number 9, Piper McHugh, in for John Carroll.
Okay. Piper's back in here, Don, and one of her specialties is head balls. So I want to see where she's at on the field, because if that's her up there by the far post, she's good at head balls.
Here comes a corner kick.
Served it back. It should be a serve right away. That was a good block. Took a little long to pull the trigger there, Don. She needed to get rid of that ball a little sooner and lift it over them.
You could see her. She sort of wound up and kicked the ball. It gave the Fallston defender a chance to get in the way. Taylor Roth in at the goal.
I like the aggressiveness, though, on the Fallston defender coming out and getting that. Don, you called the field hockey game with Janice Rhodes.
Yes.
And they have those free runs in on the circle. I was doing a couple games for you the previous years, and I saw a defense that wouldn't come out and attack the ball quickly enough. And the offensive team scored. Per that example, the Fallston girl did not let her get that cross.
Yeah.
I like the aggressiveness now. She's dropping that ball kind of tough right here. This is a little bit dangerous. I see a few parents getting nervous. They're like, okay, good teamwork, but let's not be too dangerous here. Good ball. She tips this. This should be a shot. Okay.
Good job by Cox. She had that angle. Very little angle left for the John Carroll player to shoot at.
Also, the defender did not let her turn enough to get it far post.
Good point.
So little things like that matter, because if she gets that ball far post and it skids, it could be a tough ball.
We're well trained. You can tell both these teams, these players are well coached. They play the game the way it should be played.
Yes.
So happy that we could be here for this game, because you talk about level of competition and quality.
Well, this is one of the reasons we wanted this one on the schedule, Don, and it's turned out to be a great one. Good job fighting back for that ball from John Carroll. Now, she's serving that ball there, but that's tough. I would consider just serving a big ball across the whole box. But they're trained to play ball control, but at some point, a service just has to happen.
Oh, nice move.
She got through. One play and a shot.
Maybe a little one pass too many,
yes.
huh?
Well, that's why I said they were set up on the far post with a collection of girls for John Carroll. So a chip to the far post couldn't have hurt either.
Coming up on the 13-minute mark in regulation. Fallston scored a goal in that first half, and then one goal for John Carroll here in the second half. That's where we are, 1-1.
John Carroll's gaining more half-field possession right now, but
Maddie Cox.
John Carroll is putting himself in a vulnerable spot
Back in is Maddie Cox.
Yes.
That's good to see.
So they just did the protocol and checked her out.
Yeah.
Do you know what day it is? Do you know where you are?
Yeah.
Sometimes people ask me that, Don, and I say I don't have a concussion, and I still don't know the answer.
In the old days, the coach would put up 3 fingers and how many, and you'd say 2. You'd say close enough.
Yes.
Go back in. You're not hurt. Yeah.
That was a good ball and a good possession here. Good defense so far and a clear.
Casey Resch, number 10, the Fallston player.
People don't really know how hard it is out. People don't really know how hard it is, Don, to trap a ball with your body with a defender all over you and slightly pushing it. I'm impressed with both teams' forwards and how they've done that so far.
A well-played game. Both teams at a high level.
Good
Oh,
stick.
great takeaway. That's Resch again. Ball kicked out of bounds. Coming
So,
up,
Don, do you ever play a sport where you eventually learn the other team's players move? That was a good example right there from the John Carroll, from the Fallston defender. The girl had beat her before in that pullback move, and she said, not this time.
fool me once, shame on you. Or shame on me or something.
Yes.
Good job.
Oh, that was an unintentional drop pass for Fallston.
Right. She tried to kick it to her teammate instead of set it up for John Carroll. Coming up on the
She has a
11-minute
chance for
mark.
a shot here. Nice
Oh.
save.
Good job. Using the body, you know. Hey, I'm not going to catch it with my hands. You know, I could slip the ball by me. I'm just going to put my body in front of it.
Isn't it amazing how it's different than what a football receiver is told? They're told to catch it with their hands and
Yeah.
bring it to their body. In a goalkeeper position, you can almost do it equally. But it was that ball. It was right at her body, so why not let your body block it?
Especially with a slick ball and slick gloves.
I guarantee you, Don, I would have dropped 3 or 4 of these already if that was me in the goal.
Uh-huh.
The ball just went out of bounds.
Coming up on the 10:30 mark left in the regulation.
I played goalie one time when I was refereeing and the team didn't show up, and ex-Blast player Paul Crosley, myself, and 3 other people played a post 38 team from Dundalk, and they said everybody takes a turn in the goal. Once they had me in the goal, they realized why I said I shouldn't go in the goal. I think I gave up 3 goals in 3 minutes, Don.
And that was 30 years ago, 40 years ago?
Yes.
But do I remember? Yes. Yep.
It still hurts my ego.
Inside 10 minutes left in regulation. Again, we mentioned that if we do have a tie, as I'm told, there will be 2 10-minute overtimes potentially. 1 goal would win it. Of course, we have, again, 9 minutes and 40 seconds to go before we get to that point.
Well, this is where you see conditioning come into hand, Don. I would say neither team is subbed more than 4 players, and the subs haven't played probably even 50% of the game. So these starters are mostly playing most of the game.
Good passing.
You're going to get some tired legs come in here now, which means a mistake could change the game. Now she needs to get this ball and wait for teammate. Oh, no, she wanted a one-on-one with her teammate.
That was Sarah Farley. We talked about her, the senior who was all conference last year.
So believe it or not here, Don, nearing the last week of September, these teams are going to have a lot of games in the next 3 weeks because they've probably had a couple rainouts and so forth. And then they're already thinking about playoffs.
Yep. Comes John Carroll.
Nice ball. She should put it to the outside. She had an overlapping player. She sees her, but a little bit too strong on the pass,
Too
maybe.
strong. Yep. We mentioned IAAM, the Interscholastic Athletic Association, at which John Carroll plays in the A Conference. Some of the best teams not only in the state and the region, but in the nation. And Fallston, who plays in the Chesapeake Division. Fallston's only a 1A school.
Yes.
Back in the day, Fallston was a 2A, 3A school, but their population has shrunk. So they are among the schools in, the way they rank them, they are among the smallest schools. State champions in 2021 and 22. Last year, 8 and 6.
We say this every time we have a Fallston girls or boys team, Don. For such a small school, they put out a strong team in pretty much every sport.
Think about it going back to field hockey we were talking about the other day. You know, when they won 13 state titles back in the Alice Puckett days.
Yeah.
Centered.
Oh,
It's there.
if she runs onto that.
Oh,
nice
there
save.
she is, Cox.
Wow, she had that by the fingertips, and it looked like it wanted to squeak away,
Yeah.
but she pulled it in. And if she didn't, there was a girl for John Carroll there on the doorstep to bring it in the goal.
So impressed with the play of Maddie Cox in the goal for Fallston.
Good shield. Should be doing a bump off here. Whoops, not sure what she was thinking there. But she might have thought catch the goalie out. Sometimes the goalies sneak out to that 5 to 8 yard line, Don, and if you turn around and you put a line drive up over their head, it could drop in. Nice step.
Good takeaway by the Carroll Patriots. Here they come.
Yes, Casey.
Well, both teams playing at such a high level.
Good step. Now see, nice ball and a shot.
Hannah
Wow.
save. Cox.
Oh, her own teammate almost got in her way. But you know what I like she did there, Don? She took charge.
Yeah, get out of my way. I've got the ball.
Yes. That's where I go back to being the biggest ball hog. I've actually seen goalies push their own defender out of the way.
Yeah. Again, senior leadership is what it's all about.
It's a tough drop ball here. And right to, oh man, she could have gathered that a little bit better, Don. She could have had it run at the goal.
Come the Patriots.
Nice run. She got by 2. She's taking that shot.
Sooner or later, she says she's going to miss it. She's going to fall down. She's going to slip. Again, if it were a grass field, you would have seen a lot more slipping.
That's right.
Very seldom. I don't think I've seen anybody actually slip and fall tonight,
No.
even though it's been raining the entire night.
Well-
Should I say it, Ray? It is not raining right now.
Oh,
Should I say it?
You blew it.
I did not say that.
So, Don, I'll tell you why I think we haven't seen as much falling. 2 reasons. One, we've had a fairly clean game, physicality-wise, but their passing accuracy on both of these teams is so good. Oh, that's a volley. Oh, she just mistimed that, Don. But, you know, when your teammate puts the ball on your foot, you don't have to lunge or reach for it, and it makes it easier to play a clean game. She mishit that a little bit,
Yeah.
but easy to do. That should go out.
John Carroll's ball.
Now, one thing I haven't seen, Don, is you don't see it as much in girls soccer, but you see it sometimes. Either team have that big, powerful throw-in.
Yeah.
That could be a weapon.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. We have not seen that. Subs coming in
Number
for
19,
Fallston.
Sydney McLaughlin, and number 23, Amber Shawman.
Sydney McLaughlin, one of the 2 subs coming in.
And Amber Schauflin or something like that. And I didn't hear all those names before, so I think this is that tired legs time, Don.
Yeah. With 4 minutes left. And again, if you're thinking about overtime, you're thinking about a possible 20 minutes more.
Yeah. That's not uncommon. If you trust that 12th and 13th player, get them in there, get a couple of your players some fresh legs for 5 minutes, and then bring them back in.
Ball out of play. It looks like it'll be maybe a corner kick.
Don, I was just going to call that. The goalie thought it was off of the other team, and she let it go. She should have probably just picked it up in case. She could have saved that, but she thought it was off of the other team. So a little mistake there, and let's see if they can stop it. I haven't seen either team put the ball. That's a good ball, and that's bouncing around.
Get it out of there.
Almost had a chance for a handball in there. That should be a service. Right back in.
Oh, good. Oh, and the ball slips.
That's why
There's
you
the
gotta
first time we've
keep
seen
playing.
that slip, but Cox is able to gather it.
That ball wasn't right at her body, Don. She had
Yeah.
to reach out for it. That makes it a little bit tougher.
Yeah, and the ball slipped right out of her hands.
Yeah. Good job to the John Carroll girls for following that.
Inside 3 minutes now left in regulation. 1-1.
Ooh.
1-0 lead for Fallston after the first half. John Carroll tied it at 1.
2 blocks in a row by Fallston players.
Yes. Good job, Sid. Go ahead, Rachel.
These girls mark each other so tight, Don, that whoever receives the ball has a really hard time getting it and turning with the ball. Somebody's on them like a glove. That's a push there.
I'm told, and you may be better, know this better than I, that soccer hasn't caught on in any major way, especially professionally, because there's not many goals scored. Americans tend to want to see, 10-9
Yes.
or, lots of goals. But you watch this game, and if you can appreciate the skill level, you understand it. You don't have to score goals to be interesting.
Well, and that is 100% accurate, but it was even more accurate 10, 15 years ago. What's happening now is you're getting more people who grew up playing the game than years ago. So you do get a little bit more people watching the MLS, the WSL, WMLS, and so forth.
Minute 30.
For the Patriots, 35 yards out from the goal.
Now what you're going to try to get here is the John Carroll. That's a good ball.
That's a goal. That's a goal from 20 yards out.
That was a amazing shot.
Number 22, Ava Porovicchio with the John Carroll goal.
Ava?
Porovicchio.
Yeah.
Ava Porovicchio from about 20 yards out over the outstretched attempt to make the save by Cox. So at 1:22 left in the contest, John Carroll has taken a 2-1 lead. What a shot.
That was a great moment for John Carroll, a heartbreaker for Fallston. It's played such a good, tough game.
Cox did everything she could. She leaped as high as she could, went over her, just under that crossbar for the goal.
So now you got to start pushing everybody up, Don. So you're going to see every defender except for 1 or 2 up.
And the clock is running inside a minute.
And the goalie is up to the 15-yard line.
50 seconds left in the contest. Wow.
You're going to probably see John Carroll just boot the ball downfield and try to pin it in the corner. That's a good job. She's going to serve it to the middle.
Patriots holding on here. They're attacking. 38 seconds left.
Uh-oh, it's a missed head ball. So what they like to do, Don, is get it down in the corner, and if they can, the player just traps it in the corner and holds it there. Let's see if I'm right. See, look. She's like, nope, I'm going to block it. Now they made Fallston kick it out.
Clock running.
Clock
19,
runs.
18.
Yep.
Wow, what a great win if you're John Carroll, and what a heartbreaking loss if you're Fallston. 10 seconds.
Now she has to punt this ball big, and everybody's got to break up.
4 seconds, 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1. And that is the end of this ball game. What a tremendous win for the John Carroll Patriots, winning by 2-1 on that winning goal. That beautiful shot from 20, 25 yards out?
Yes.
By Porovicchio, Ava Porovicchio, the junior midfielder. What a tremendous game it was.
Don,
Wow.
I want to say that ball was almost 35, 40 out, because we forget we had the end zone too.
Good point.
Yeah. What a beautiful shot.
When she hit it, I'm thinking, wow, that's going to be a 1 in a million chance.
Right.
But she put it perfectly where goalie Cox could not get it.
I want to say I feel bad for the Fallston goalie because she had an amazing game.
Yep, and I was just going to say that it's the kind of game where you don't want to see a loser.
Right.
We'd love to see them just both go away winners, because that's how great both played in some really tough conditions with the weather, the wind, the rain, but what a game it was.
Well, coaches will say there's no such thing as a moral victory, but at least Fallston walks away saying we went toe-to-toe with probably a top 15 team in the state rankings in John Carroll, and almost pulled it off.
So for a third year in a row, the John Carroll Patriots have defeated Fallston, this time by a final score of 2-1. It was 1-0 Fallston at the half, tied at 1-1, and then with a minute and 20-some seconds left, it was the goal by Porovicchio that made the difference and made it 2-1. What
Yes.
a game.
Yes, I loved it. Thank you for having me, Don.
Hey, Ray, what evaluating? Both teams played well. Both goalies played well. The John Carroll Patriots are now going to 5-1-1. The 3-game winning streak is now at an end, and 4-4 for the Fallston Cougars. Been a pleasure, Ray. Enjoyed. Thanks for all your expertise.
Thank you.
Hope you all have enjoyed it. Again, our final score here from Fallston, the John Carroll Patriots winning by a final score of 2-1. Good night, everyone.